The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that fans will be seeing a lot less of one crucial character. Y&R's been featuring Lily quite a bit since she caused the tragic crash that killed Hillary. She's been driving the Aftermath storyline along with Livid Devon, but she won't be front and center for much longer. Crystal Khalil is dropping from full-time to recurring, so that should drastically reduce the number of scenes she's in. On Instagram, Khalil posted a pic as well as a message to fill viewers in. She decided to give everyone a heads up on the brewing changes and what to expect moving forward. I wanted you to be the first to know that if you see less of me on @Young and Restless, it's because I have decided to switch from Y&R full-time to recurring status, Khalil said. That means I'm not leaving, just ready to explore new things. I will continue to be a proud member of the Y&R family and look forward to further adventures playing Lily. Khalil also thanked her fans for their support over the years. She's very appreciative of all the love she gets for her Young and the Restless role. Of course, things are always changing behind the scenes in the soap world. This could certainly be Khalil's decision as she claims, but it's also possible Y&R nudged her toward it. After all, the current story may point in that direction. If Lily ends up in prison, there won't be much the show can do with her. The Young and the Restless may want that drama for Kane, Maddie and Charlie. It'd be interesting to see how Kane would handle running the family on his own. He'd undoubtedly be overwhelmed as he cared for Sam and faced teen issues from the twins. Considering how long Khalil's been with the show, they may have given her the option to say it was her idea. Pursuing other projects sounds better than being demoted, or essentially fired. This way it looks like Khalil was just tired of the soap grind and wanted to do something else. That arrangement tends to prevent backlash, too. Fans don't complain as much when it's an actor's decision to bow out. Regardless, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Lily will fade to the background soon enough. We'll give you updates as other Y&R news comes in. At Crimson Lights, Ray greeted Sharon when she offered refills. Ray showed Sharon the screen of his laptop and claimed he'd been busy playing a video game. Sharon was flattered when Ray complimented her coffee and her congeniality. After Sharon walked away, Ray opened a notebook and began writing down his observations. Ray was interrupted when Abby entered the coffee house. Abby was reluctant to engage with Ray after their earlier encounter, which hadn't gone well. Ray said, "I feel like we got off on the wrong foot. I don't know what Arturo told you about me, but I would really like to fix things with my brother, and I think you could help me." Abby asked what Ray wanted from her. Ray requested Arturo's phone number. Abby refused, stating that she wouldn't betray Arturo. Ray was impressed with Abby's loyalty to Arturo and asked if she knew where Lola was. Abby noted that if Ray didn't already know, then his relationship with Lola wasn't any better than the one with Arturo. Abby agreed to talk a little about herself if Arturo first shared details about himself. Arturo claimed he worked in finance. Arturo described his early life with his mom, brother, and sister as being crazy and noisy. Noting the absence of their father, Ray said, Arturo didn't like his older brother playing Poppy. Abby asked Ray if he'd moved to Genoa City to mend his relationship with his brother. Ray explained that his work had brought him to town. Ray asked Abby to reciprocate and share background about herself, beginning with what she saw in his brother. Abby found Ray's comment to be insulting and warned him to watch his step. Abby noted that if Ray and Arturo had grown up just as brothers, things might have turned out differently for them. Ray noted that he loved his brother as much Abby loved her brother, Nick. Ray asked about Abby having worked with her powerful father. Abby, responding to the question and to Ray's remark about the powerful Newman family, replied, "Working with my father, or working with Victor Newman?" Abby admitted that working with Victor had been a challenge, but working with Nick had been less stressful and had yielded more respect. Ray mentioned Victor's unfortunate encounters with JT. Ray asked Abby if she was concerned that JT might be after her. Abby chuckled and emphatically stated she wasn't. Ray replied, "Is that because the rumors about your old man having solved the problem are true?" Abby insisted her father wouldn't have done what Ray had implied. Abby bolstered her defense by stating that JT wasn't the person who'd hacked into the Newman server. Ray asked who'd done the hacking. Abby refused to answer. Ray seemed to realize he'd pushed too hard. Abby, miffed, rose from her seat and walked away. After Abby exited, Ray opened his notebook and jotted down his observations about their encounter. On the patio at Crimson Lights, Sharon noticed Mariah seated alone, looking forlorn. Mariah told Sharon that Tessa hadn't been returning text messages. Mariah explained that Tessa had gone to help Crystal leave the country, fearing that the sex traffickers might find her. Mariah added that after Tessa had located Crystal, she'd phoned, but something had happened before the call had abruptly ended. Sharon grew concerned when Mariah explained that Tessa had gone completely off the grid. Sharon asked Mariah if she could help. Mariah replied, "Just tell me not to give up because I'm this close." Sharon gently suggested that Tessa had chosen not to return to town to save her sister and Mariah from danger. Mariah strongly disagreed and recalled that Tessa had looked her straight in the face and said, "I choose you." Mariah added that Tessa would have never walked away after having said what she'd said. Sharon recalled that Tessa had lied about stealing lines from Mariah's journal and had stayed with Noah even though she hadn't been committed. Sharon noted that Tessa had a history of being dishonest and fleeing in order to avoid the consequences. Sharon added, "There is someone out there for you." Mariah replied, "And her name is Tessa." Mariah stepped outside, phoned Tessa, and left a message pleading with Tessa to call her back. Sharon stepped behind the serving counter and noticed water on the floor. Ray went to investigate after Sharon cried, "Great! Just what I need." Ray offered to inspect the leaking pipe. Sharon phoned a plumber and was disappointed when she learned that she'd have to wait 3 hours. Ray interrupted and said he could fix the leak. Sharon brought out her toolbox and boasted that her fiancé, who was out of town, relished showing off his handyman skills. When Ray attempted to stop the leak using an oversized pipe wrench, he made matters worse and got sprayed. Ray pulled off his drenched shirt, and Sharon said she should learn how to repair her own plumbing. Ray pointed to Sharon's engagement ring and said she shouldn't attempt plumbing work while wearing a big rock on her finger. Sharon agreed that Nick wouldn't be happy if she lost the ring. Ray learned that the wedding was set for October. Sharon admitted she and Nick had been married previously and vowed that nothing would stand in the way of their renewed happiness. After Ray temporarily stopped the leak with plumber's tape, Sharon promised him free coffee for a month and provided him a dry t-shirt bearing a Save Crimson Lights logo. Sharon inquired about Ray's marital status. Ray said he and his wife had taken a break. Sharon said that at least Ray had a place to hang out whenever he felt lonely. Ray replied, "Where I can get free coffee." Sharon said she should clean up the mess from the leaky pipe and ended the conversation, leaving Ray to think over what Sharon had told him. At Summer's apartment, Phyllis paced nervously until Billy arrived. Billy, having returned from a business conference held in Philadelphia, claimed he'd worked the whole time gaining insights about the retail business. Billy insisted he'd send Kyle to next year's conference because he didn't like being away from Phyllis. Billy kissed Phyllis and invited her aboard a boat to cruise the lake for a couple of days. Phyllis wiped away Billy's kisses with her hand and replied, "That can't happen. The yacht is booked." Phyllis rebuffed Billy's offer to make love and demanded to know what had been going on between him and Summer. Billy made an attempt to phone Summer, so he could ask why Phyllis believed he and Summer were involved with each other. Phyllis took Billy's phone and explained that Summer was cruising the lake aboard a boat and would be out of contact. Phyllis added that Summer wouldn't be allowed to return until Phyllis gave word to release her. Billy was taken aback. Billy asked Phyllis why she was holding Summer hostage. Phyllis explained that she'd prevented Summer from traveling to Philadelphia to hook up with Billy. Phyllis proved her point by recalling that Summer had said, "I want your man, and I'm going to have him." Billy insisted that he'd had no idea what Summer has been planning to do. Phyllis cried that she'd like to know when her little girl had turned into someone who'd do what Summer had planned to do. Phyllis' anger suddenly turned to concern, and she suggested getting in touch with Summer. Billy nixed Phyllis' plans to call and said Summer should be left alone to stew. Billy made a quick exit by claiming he needed to shower. When Billy returned downstairs, he served Phyllis a cup of coffee with a splash of spirits to help calm her. Phyllis said, "No amount of alcohol could fix the way I feel." Phyllis said she couldn't forget Summer's calculated intentions to get Billy into bed. Phyllis again rebuffed Billy's attempt to kiss her and asked him what he would have done had Summer showed up at his hotel room. Billy said he likely would have slammed the door in Summer's face. Billy asked Phyllis why she'd felt the need to ask what he would have done. Phyllis admitted she'd used Billy's computer to send Summer a text message inviting her to join him on the yacht. Phyllis demanded to know why Summer had gone to the yacht in hopes of joining